So what you're getting is after we opened up phase two, this is all of the changes that we picked up architecturally and otherwise that we have to do. So I'm going to walk through them. Item number one is because when we separated out dispatch and evidence from the project, it required additional work. So we have to spend a little bit of money so that we can make up about a month of construction time or more. It's closer to 6 to 8 weeks. But that's because we had to silo off that area, and that wasn't in the original scope. Item two is when we did some demo, we found a hose bib sitting in someone's office, and we're putting that in its proper location. It was in kind of like a little fake column, and we're moving it, and we did not realize that until the walls were down. Item three, this is some doors that are going on. We have some old detention doors that are odd shaped, so we're just adding some metal to make them an actual shape of a door. And also, we drained all of the allowances, which was my decision to kind of do on purpose because every single time we used an allowance, we had to vote on it anyway. So part of that is we're getting into an old allowance and getting the cores, the locks for all the doors. So it was already in the project. And then item four is a little bit of door work. We're moving some doors and the old emergency management location to make them more usable, and we're adding a door in the warehouse space. Kind of as we start seeing the finishes, as that happens, you say, well, we need this door looks bad, and this is how we want to do it. Item five, we made the decision that we don't want to use polished concrete in a lot of the area because the concrete didn't look like it was going to look very nice when it was polished. And so we basically decided to go to get floor coverings, and then item six is a bunch of credit back for not having to do the work up on the floors. So that's why you see floor cost and then a big credit on floors is because now we don't have to do the work up to make the polished concrete work. Item seven is some metal work, mainly on the transition window in the lobby. That is a big, thick jail wall. And so once we put the transaction window in the lobby, we're putting a little bit of metal work to make it flush out and look nice. Item eight is some additional electrical work for some of the interior changes that we had to make. So these are kind of being done by trade, if you notice how we're breaking it out. And then basically the entire PCCO is $35,000. That is for everything in what we're calling phase two. That's all the architectural, electrical changes that we intend to make. Anything else would be owner-driven, which would be us going in and seeing something, go, no, we don't like the way that looks. We're going to do this. Remember, we only have two more areas to demo, which is going to be evidence and dispatch. So that's kind of our last, what was going to happen when we tear down those walls. We do have about $127,000. I did make a note that that's not audited. That's my numbers of doing math. Inside the SCI contract, plus after furniture, we should have about 150 on the owner's side. So we're doing really healthy on the contingency even after this. These are basically changes that happened because of the demo. We knocked down a bunch of walls. I don't know if you've been in there. The entire administration area has been completely demoed. We are the only part that has not been knocked out to be started to rebuild is evidence and dispatch. Everything else is going. So we're more than halfway done with kind of what are the oopses and what do we see. Kind of the big next steps is we're going to finalize our furniture, we're going to move evidence, and then we're going to do our last demo. Those are kind of the big milestones that we're working towards. So that's where we are with the project. And I just kind of wanted to walk y'all through this multifaceted PCO. I asked them specifically not to give us 9 PCOs right after we did 12 in the last court. So, but this kind of gets all the trades going for that last big remodel part. So with that, Sal's here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Stacy. And like last time, really appreciate the presentation. Makes it very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, court, questions for Sal?
My only one was
Commissioner
kind of
Stacy?
like a timeline. Are we still doing pretty good as far as the
Yes,
plan?
The construction schedule hasn't changed. It's still, I believe, we're looking at the first week of September for a certificate of occupancy. The contractor's been hesitant to pull that schedule in, but they do think they made up some time already, so you may be looking at end of August. That's not a promise. That is just kind of their verbal on that one, but still the official timeline for CO is the 1st of September.
That's excellent, and I'm going to come visit it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And like I said, on those milestones, getting evidence moved is the next huge milestone. We accomplished one by getting dispatch moved to its temporary location. Evidence is a huge deal.
Good. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Sal, I guess that's it for you right now. Do we have to take any action on this?
Yes,
We
yes.
need a motion, right?
Yeah, I'll make a
Somebody-
motion that we approve prime contract change order number 31 to the agreement with SCI Construction for the Rockwall County Sheriff Office renovation project.
All right, we have a motion
I'll
by
second
Commissioner Galana. We have a second by Commissioner Makalik. Unless there's any other discussion, please vote. And that passes 4-0. So thank you all so much.